Hey everyone, welcome back to Y and N Travel. It's Nick and Yana here, and today we're taking you on an adventure to Osaka, aka the land of food, neon lights, and hopefully cherry blossoms. Spoiler, the cherry blossoms were a little shy this time, but don't worry, we got plenty of exciting spots to show you. So buckle up, grab a snack, and let's dive into our Osaka spring trip. Minus the sakura, but with plenty of good vibes. Okay, we are in Osaka. Just came in, it's 11:30 and our hotel check-in is in like 3 or 4 hours, so we're just gonna go around the city, see what we can find. And eventually I think we will come to the riverbank to see if sakura is already blooming, because this year sakura is late. It should have been a couple of days ago, started blooming, but because it's a bit cold in Japan this year, it's a bit late, so we'll see how it goes. So we made it to Sakura Nomiya Park because, it's the place to go for cherry blossoms in Osaka, except no cherry blossoms. We got there on time, but it was like Mother Nature decided to hit snooze and keep the trees on standby. The park itself is still gorgeous though, with a nice riverside walk and plenty of spots to relax and pretend we weren't disappointed. If you squint, you can almost imagine what it would have looked like if there were flowers. I think we should use like a power of imagination. Imagination. Just imagine everything here is pink and beautiful. But it's actually quite hot, so I think it's going to be there in maybe a couple of days. I said we can use the power of imagination, to just... Imagination. Imagine. Kirei no tokoro desu ne. Very kirei, much utsukushi. Yeah, they're like small buds.
You can even see the pink balls.
Small buds, yeah. Next, we wandered over the Tokyo Mint Museum, which has nothing to do with money anymore, but somehow still makes history cool. It's got coins, medals, and a whole lot of fascinating exhibits that make you feel like you're smarter than you were when you walked in. Now, here's where the things get interesting. This place is almost famous for its cherry blossom path, which opens once a week in spring. And of course, there are no cherry blossoms there as well. Tough luck. The irony isn't lost on me. We were 2 for 2 on missing the cherry blossoms, but I'm convinced the museum's air conditioning made up for it. And on our way back, we stumbled upon Tenjibashi Shopping Street. And when they say Tenjibashi is the longest shopping street in Japan, they're not kidding. It's 2.6 kilometers of shops, stalls, and a million opportunities to spend money on things you don't need but suddenly can't live without. And now for the food. At Jumbo Sakaba, we stuffed ourselves with okonomiyaki and modaniyaki, 2 Osaka specialties that basically scream comfort food. Okonomiyaki is like a savory pancake mixed with whatever your heart desires, and modaniyaki is its rebellious cousin who decided to throw noodles into the mix because, why not? It's greasy, it's delicious, and it's the kind of meal that makes you reconsider your life choices, but only after you've finished licking your plate. We may have over-ordered, but that's the problem of future Nick and Yana. Finally, we checked into our hotel and we stayed at the Umedaholic Hotel, conveniently located near Umeda Station. Because who doesn't love being a stone throw away from, everything? This place was the perfect blend of trendy and chill, like it's trying to be hip, but not too hip. So don't feel out of the place walking in with your travel backpack and messy hair. The rooms were cozy, and by cozy I mean efficiently compact, aka small, but who's complaining when you're barely in it, right? Plus, it's got the modern, sleek vibe that makes you feel like you're staying in the mid of the century, but with slightly better Wi-Fi. And unfortunately, the same day, Yana came down with a toothache, of all things, so we decided to take it easy and stay at the hotel for the rest of the day. It turned out to be a much needed rest stop where we could recharge, and sometimes even on the best trips you just need a break to binge watch some TV and relax. Hey, what's up? So we are alive. Yana is alive as well. So it's the next day. We just stayed at the hotel. Hashtag traveling after 30. And today we have a lot of plans. We'll go for some food right now. And after that we'll go visit some shrines, see what's up. And in the evening we'll show you guys some of the night city Osaka. So yeah, let's go. So for our breakfast we made a stop at Crêperie Le Beurre Noisette in Omekita Plaza, where we indulged in some buckwheat crepes, or buckwheat pancakes, and those were both fancy and filling. You've hit the jackpot when your food manages to be rustic and gourmet at the same time. The savory buckwheat gave them the rich, earthy flavor and made us feel like we were dining in the French countryside, except smack in the middle of Osaka. And after that we decided to stop at Horyuchi Fruit Farm and dive straight into dessert territory. First up, the banana split, a classic that never disappoints. It was piled high with bananas, ice cream and enough whipped cream to make your dentist cringe with fear. Then, because one dessert is never enough, of course, we had the strawberry sundae packed with fresh strawberries, so perfect they probably had their own personal stylists. Honestly, both desserts were so good that I briefly considered moving to a fruit farm just to make this my life. And after that we went to Sumiyoshi Taisha Temple, which is one of Osaka's oldest shrines, and it's the kind of place that make you feel like you've stepped into a time machine, minus the samurai and with a lot more tourists holding selfie sticks, just like us. The shrine's Sorihashi Bridge is this crazy stepped, arched beauty that's iconic but also slightly terrifying when you realize you have to walk across it. And naturally, I couldn't resist pulling an omikuji while we were there, and I got medium luck. Not bad, not great, just enough to keep me hopeful but also remind me not to get too cocky. Classic shrine vibes. And of course we also walked the grounds of the shrine and found a couple of cool places, especially this bathroom where you can pee and look at the nature at the same time, so what's not to like? And by the way, look at these awesome trams that we used to actually get to Sumiyoshi Taisha. The Hankai Line trams are a slice of Osaka's history rolling along on street rails. These trams have been around since 1911, which makes them one of the city's oldest forms of public transport. They're slow, creaky, and charming in the way the old things usually are. And before going back to hotel for a bit of rest, we actually stumbled upon Shinsekai that we wanted to visit the same day in the evening, and I just decided to film it during the day. For you guys, you actually don't have to wait, so it's like 3, 2, 1 and... Shinsekai is Osaka's version of let's make a district that's retro, a bit weird and completely unforgettable. It's a wild mix of old and new with neon lights blazing down on narrow streets packed with odd shops, vintage arcades and restaurants offering fried food on sticks. More on that later. The place is like a fever dream of 1920s nostalgia but with a lot more modern chaos thrown in. And after a brief walk through Shinsekai, we actually got to Dotonbori. And walking through Dotonbori is like being swallowed by a neon monster, in the best way possible, of course. It's crowded, chaotic, and there's so much neon you'll wonder if you're in a Blade Runner sequel. The giant Glico Running Man has been lighting up this place since 1935, which basically makes him like an unofficial king of Osaka.
The canal that cuts through the district adds some extra charm, but really the whole vibe here is food, lights and sensory overload. It's the kind of place that makes you feel like you're in the center of the universe. With a side of fried goodness, of course. And speaking of fried goodness, at Kushikatsu Daruma we indulged in kushikatsu, Osaka's beloved deep-fried skewers. Everything from meat to veggies to quail eggs. If it can be skewered, it can be fried. But I have to say, this is just another way of making any kind of food completely unhealthy. So, well, it goes well with the beer, but at the same time, I can't see myself eating that a lot. And the next day we decided to start out with Umeda Sky Building. And it looks like something out of a sci-fi movie. A giant U-shaped structure with a floating garden at the top. But here's where things got fun. So apparently we had to exchange our tourist pass for tickets back at the train station. Why? No idea. Is it logical? Completely not. There were no signs, no instructions, just good old-fashioned confusion. So instead of a Umeda Sky Building, we decided to go to HAP 5 Ferris wheel, or I'll just call it HAP 5 Ferris wheel. And the HAP 5 Ferris wheel sits on top of a shopping mall because, of course it does. This is Osaka, why not stack a giant red Ferris wheel on top of a mall and call it a day? The ride gives you some of the best views of the city, especially if you time it right and catch the sunset, but we actually came during the day, so just a tip for you guys. The fact that you're spinning around while perched on top of a shopping center just adds to the thrill, to be honest. Who needs a regular Ferris wheel when you can have one that doubles as an extreme sport? Am I right? And in the same shopping mall, we also decided to go into the photo booth. And to be honest, it was quite a fun experience. We made some photos that you can see on the screen right now. And it actually makes not only photos, but also stickers for a phone. So I actually had that sticker for the next maybe couple of months until it just fell off. But yeah, just look at this. This is awesome. And after that we decided to explore a bit of the city again and went to Ikuno Koreatown. And Ikuno is a little slice of Seoul right in Osaka, packed with food stalls, K-pop shops and enough Korean barbecue to make you forget you're still in Japan. The energy here is contagious and it's easy to lose track of time while sampling all the snacks and soaking in the atmosphere. We didn't eat anything at Ikuno because, to be honest, we were already stuffed from the food marathon that is Osaka itself, but we did check out a Korean market with these narrow streets right near the train station. It was packed with stalls selling all kinds of kimchi and other Korean food, and like seriously, if you can think of a way to prepare fermented cabbage, they probably had it there. And after that we actually came back to Shinsekai because we also wanted to visit the tower, but we also wanted to wait a bit in order to catch the sunset. And this is why we stayed at Jumbo Tsuribune Tsurikichi restaurant. And by the way, awesome name. In this restaurant, you can supposedly catch your own fish right from your table. But to be honest, we left that to the professionals, and instead we enjoyed some seriously fresh sashimi, washed it all down with beer, and savored the absolute best tuna I've ever had. Oh, and I can't forget the caviar potato salad. Whoever decided to mix caviar with potato salad deserves a medal. It was one of those dishes where you just know you'll be dreaming about long after you leave. And after that we finally got to Tsutenkaku Tower, and it's one of Osaka's most iconic landmarks, rising above the retro streets of Shinsekai like a weirdly cool beacon of post-war optimism. It was built in the 1910s, modeled after the Eiffel Tower, but with a little bit more personality in my opinion, and, well, significantly fewer proposals. Climbing to the top gives you a solid view of the city, but honestly, the tower's charm is in its old school vibe. And if that wasn't enough, you can actually slide down the tower on this massive winding slide, and that's why some people are actually in helmets. On our way out, there was a museum where you could test your reaction time by pressing a button exactly at 11.11 seconds. I got close, 11.17. Not bad, but apparently I won't be saving the world with my reflexes anytime soon. Or playing cyber sports. And here we are actually back at Dotonbori, so round 2, I guess. But this time we also skipped the street food, well, almost, and also decided to just chill by the riverbank. Armed with some lemon sours, we kicked back, waved at tourists riding the ferry like we were the unofficial welcoming committee, and enjoyed a rare moment of calm amidst the neon chaos. There's something oddly satisfying about watching the world go by while sipping on a lemon sour and pretending you've got your life together. Sometimes it's the simple things that make the trip. And we decided to get some takoyaki at Achichi Honpo, which is probably the most famous restaurant that serves takoyaki in the world, because it's the center, it's the very heart of Osaka, and Osaka is the heart of takoyaki.
What in heaven's name are you talking about?
Also, Yana learned the hard way that patience is the key. And yeah, pro tip guys, wait a few seconds, let them cool down, and then enjoy. Or if you're like Yana, just go all in and deal with the consequences later. Either way, totally worth it. And also on our way back to the metro station, we found this guy, whoever that is, but yeah, that's quite cool. Finally, the next day, and it was our last day at Osaka, we decided to visit Osaka Castle. And Osaka Castle is the crown jewel of the city, a massive fortress surrounded by moat, towering over the landscape like a reminder that Osaka means business. The grounds are beautiful and the castle itself is a masterclass in Japanese architecture. Inside, there is a museum that tells the castle's history. This place was the stage for the summer siege of Osaka, a battle so intense it makes your average action movie look like a picnic. I picked up a stamp here to mark the visit, but honestly we were too busy imagining what it would look like with fucking cherry blossoms. Yeah, still a little bit salty about that. And of course, when it comes to food history, we couldn't pass up a visit to the OG Osaka Osho in Dotonbori. This is the birthplace of legendary gyoza dumplings, crispy on the outside, juicy on the inside, and capable of making you question every other dumpling you've ever had. Established in 1969, Osaka Osho is a gyoza empire now. But there's something special about chowing down at the original. And by the way, did you know that CEO of Osaka Osho in the 70s was shot dead in Kyoto right in front of the headquarters of Osaka Osho? Yeah, I don't know, just a fact. True crime in this travel vlog, all of a sudden. Finally, we ended the trip on a sweet note at Rokuro Ojisan, where we tried the famous jiggly cheesecake. And it's actually so light and fluffy you almost can convince yourself it's healthy. Almost. It was actually a Kansai only treat, which made it all the more special back then, but I think they also opened a shop in Tokyo. So if you missed out before, you can now get your cheesecake fix in the capital as well. But let's be honest, there's something extra satisfying about knowing we got it before it was mainstream. And actually it was a recommendation from Alex, so shout out to Alex. And that's a wrap on our Osaka adventure. Thanks for joining us on this little journey, and even if the cherry blossom ghosted us, Osaka definitely didn't disappoint. From the insane street food in Dotonbori to epic views, well, the ones that we did see, shout out to Umeda Sky Building for that confusing ticket situation we just totally skipped. We had a blast, of course. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next travel escapade. Until then, keep exploring, keep eating, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.